to Uganda, where the government has announced a ban on live broadcasts of what it called riots and unlawful processions. But serious questions are being raised because Ugandan authorities refer to anti-government protests as riots.
Live broadcasting or streaming of riots, unlawful processions, or violent incidents is prohibited, as it can escalate tensions and spread panic. Live broadcasting or streaming of riots, unlawful processions, or violent incidents is prohibited, as it can escalate tensions and spread panic.
So, in other words, they're saying live broadcasting or streaming of riots, unlawful processions, or violent incidents is prohibited, as it can escalate tensions and spread panic. Yeah, I think Tembo, the director of UCC, he talked about it yesterday, that because of the fact that when you're live streaming, you are not like a TV station, whereby you have some delay time that you can know this one is fit for the screen, then you send it for live broadcasting. But if you are live streaming on TikTok or YouTube, what you're seeing is what you live streaming. So there is nothing like time delay. So meaning if it is something harmful, then it is going to cause it is going to be broadcasted. Yes.
This announcement comes just days away from an election in which President Yoweri Museveni is seeking to extend his 40-year rule. The 81-year-old is again facing off against 43-year-old pop star turned politician.
The 81-year-old is facing against again the 43-year-old pop star
Bobby Wine. Now, authorities in Uganda have detained hundreds of opposition supporters ahead of the January 15th elections. And Amnesty International has raised concerns over the government's response to opposition rallies.
Police response was sometimes very sudden. So if people are cheering in a rally and you start pepper spraying them and tear gassing them, everybody's...
So he was talking about where you find crowds and all of a sudden the police is pepper spraying those people in the crowds.
Running very sudden. So if people are cheering in a rally and you start pepper spraying them and tear gassing them, everybody's running for their safety.
Critics and right.
Yes. I get what you're saying. If they are cheering and you pepper spray in the crowd, then automatically people will be running for their lives.
Groups have long accused Museveni's security forces of intimidating and even torturing opponents. Allegations the president has consistently denied. But this latest ban on the broadcast of so-called riots comes amid fears that the Ugandan government could limit internet access during the election.
The authorities will want to shut down any possible means of communication with the internally and outside the.
First of all, they are cracking down internet. They are going to shut down internet, meaning you can only use your phone for calling and just messaging. No WhatsApp, no video calling. You can't even know anything on what is going on the internet or Google. So you find you are spending a full week in the darkness. So basically we are going to be using TV stations, radios.
The country, because they are trying to seal any loophole that could be utilized by people. And as an organization, we are equally concerned, because if that happens, it makes it difficult to monitor and document human rights violations.
However, the Museveni government has categorically denied these allegations.
The government has not announced or has not directed or implemented any...
Yes, the UCC director yesterday, Nyombi Tembo, he said he has not received any communication from any government body telling him to prepare for the shutdown of internet. But what we know that it is
decision
going
to
be
shut down the internet during the election period. Such misinformation necessarily creates fear. It undermines public confidence, and it also risks heightening tension at a critical national moment like this one.
But further concerns have been raised after recent moves to stop Starlink internet access in the country. What followed were opposition claims that an internet blackout would prevent supporters from mobilising and sharing election results. Now, election controversy in Uganda is not new. In 2021, when both Museveni and Wine both ran for office, ahead of the election, more than 50 Bobi Wine supporters were killed by security forces. They accused Museveni of stealing the election, something he denied. While Uganda's upcoming vote has been under international scrutiny, President Museveni has pledged a free and fair general election. His opponent, Bobi Wine, is very popular, especially among the youth. Huge crowds have gathered during his campaign. The broadcast ban announcement means Wine's rallies may not be visible to those not in attendance. And for those on the ground, a security response or possible arrests may follow. In the coming days, it will become clear if President Museveni's democratic promises play out, and all eyes in Uganda now focus on the 15th of January, where 40 years of rule will either come to an end or stretch closer towards half a century.
The world doesn't fit in boxes, so why should your news?
Yo. That was insightful. That was so insightful. Let me see whether we can have some few comments from this. Let's have some few comments. What are people saying? Mwereza Joshua. No. Grace Walker. Museveni want to kill Ugandan in the dark. Museveni aga kuta abantu. Muzikiza. Museveni wants to kill Ugandans in the dark. That is Grace Walker. Mwereza Joshua. Museveni is trying to hide his brutal and criminal mentality. Museveni is trying to hide his brutal and criminal mentality. Muhammad, Uganda is breeding. Rita, Museveni and his son Muhoozi plus their cabinets are the problem of Uganda, killing innocent people. Corruption, no justice in Uganda. So think, Trump, can you help us with Museveni? These greedy leaders who have been in power for 40 years and the country looks like garbage. We need new leaders to change the country. That is soothing. Murungi, unlawful processions are done by Museveni. That unlawful processions are done by Museveni. Museveni yabikora ebyo. He killed people in last elections, yet he wants to kill more with no evidence. Now a protest vote, he wants to turn it into a riot talk. That was user. Sandy, military government. That Uganda is a military government. Harriet, Uganda is breeding because of dictator Museveni and his drunken son. Harriet, what do you want to do? Museveni want to kill humanity in darkness. Brian, what are you saying? This is serious. That the Museveni want to kill humanity in darkness without the world watching. Please, superpower countries, come and help us. God will bless you abundantly. do you think superpowers coming in will do more harm or will do more good? Do you think it is a good idea for the superpowers to come in? Code. President Trump come in peace. Ugandans are killed by the dictator Museveni and his son. Ziar, Asila, Ziar, you cannot say what's going. You cannot say what is going on in Uganda when you don't know what's going on in Uganda. Me as a Ugandan, my question for you is, why Bobi Wine talk only about Western country instead Bobi Wine talking about so those are some of the comments. What do you think? Do you think the elections are going to be free and fair? Do you think they're going to be free and fair? And from the campaign so far, whom do you think is on the top? Bobi Wine or Museveni? Who's on the top? Museveni or Bobi Wine from the rallies? Like, share, subscribe.